why you sweat when you speak, and how to take back your power. You're about to walk on stage, the room is full, the lights are bright, and then it happens. Your palms are wet, your forehead starts to glisten, maybe your shirt is already damp under the arms. And the worst part, you're not even hot. If you've ever stood in front of a crowd or even a small meeting room and felt your body betray you like this, you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not broken. Today, we're going to do two things. First, we're going to understand exactly why your body sweats when you speak. Because when you understand the enemy, you can defeat it. And second, we're going to give you a proven, practical toolkit to reduce it, manage it, and eventually stop letting it control you. Let's get into it. Part 1. Why you sweat when you speak. Your brain thinks you're in danger. Here's the truth that most people don't know. Sweating while speaking has almost nothing to do with temperature. It's about survival. Deep inside your brain sits a structure called the amygdala, your body's ancient alarm system. And when you stand in front of an audience, that amygdala does something fascinating. It fires as if you are under physical threat. Thousands of years ago, being watched by a group could mean you were being judged, whether to be accepted or cast out from your tribe. Rejection meant death, and your brain hasn't evolved much past that. So when you step up to speak, your amygdala sends a message to your nervous system: danger, activate, and your body listens. Instantly, your sympathetic nervous system, the famous fight or flight system, floods your bloodstream with adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate climbs, your muscles tense, and your sweat glands open up. This is called stress-induced sweating. And unlike heat sweating, which happens all over your body, stress sweating is concentrated in specific places: your palms, your armpits, your forehead, and your back. Exactly the places you don't want to sweat on stage. The sweat gland science. Now let's go even deeper, because this knowledge is going to empower you. You have two types of sweat glands. The first are called eccrine glands. These are your cooling glands. They cover your whole body, and they activate mainly in response to heat. The second type are called apocrine glands. These are concentrated in your armpits, hands, feet, and forehead. And here's what's critical. Apocrine glands are directly controlled by your emotional state, specifically by adrenaline. This is why you can be standing in an air-conditioned room, perfectly comfortable in temperature, and still be soaked in sweat. It's not about heat. It's about the story your nervous system is telling itself. And here's the ironic trap many speakers fall into. They notice they're sweating, and that awareness creates more anxiety, which creates more adrenaline, which creates more sweat. It becomes a feedback loop, a cycle of stress feeding itself. But here's the most powerful thing I can tell you today, because this is a neurological and physiological process. It can be interrupted, it can be trained, and it can be overcome. Other contributing factors. Before we get to the solutions, let's acknowledge a few other factors that make speaking-induced sweating worse, because some of you may recognize yourselves here. Factor 1. Perfectionism. If you believe you cannot make a mistake in front of your audience, your brain perceives the stakes as existential. The higher the perceived stakes, the louder the alarm. Factor 2. Past negative experiences. If you've ever blanked on stage, been laughed at, or received harsh feedback, your brain has stored that as a traumatic memory. When you return to a similar situation, it reactivates that alarm automatically. Factor 3. Imposter syndrome. If you secretly believe you don't belong on that stage, that people will discover you're a fraud, your anxiety goes through the roof, and your sweat glands follow. Factor 4. Caffeine and diet. Caffeine is a stimulant that amplifies your sympathetic nervous system. If you're drinking 3 cups of coffee before a keynote, you are literally fueling the fire. Why this matters for professionals. Now, you might be thinking, everyone gets nervous. Why does it affect some people so much more than others? Great question. And the answer is both humbling and hopeful. Some people have a naturally more reactive amygdala. They were literally born with a more sensitive alarm system. That's not a weakness. That's often the same sensitivity that makes them more empathetic, more creative, and more attuned to their audience. The difference between a speaker who sweats and freezes and a speaker who sweats and still commands the room is not that one doesn't feel nervous. It's that one has learned to work with their nervous system instead of against it. That skill is learnable, and that's exactly what Part 2 is about. Part 2. How to stop. Strategies that actually work. All right, you now understand the why. Let's talk about the how. I'm going to give you 6 categories of strategies. Some are immediate. You can use them tonight. Some are long-term. They'll rewire how your nervous system responds to speaking forever. Strategy 1. Regulate your nervous system before you speak. The most powerful lever you have over your sweat response is your breath. And I don't mean taking a deep breath. I mean using specific breathing techniques that are clinically proven to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the calm, rest and digest counterpart to fight or flight. Here's the technique. It's called box breathing, and it goes like this. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Repeat 4 to 5 times. This technique is used by Navy SEALs before combat. It works by sending a direct signal to your vagus nerve, a major nerve that connects your brain to your heart, lungs, and gut, telling your entire system, we are safe. Stand down. Do this 5 to 10 minutes before you speak, not in the bathroom in a panic. Make it a ritual, a pre-performance protocol. Over time, your nervous system will begin to associate speaking with this state of calm, not alarm. Strategy 2. Reframe the threat. Harvard psychologist Alison Wood Brooks published a landmark study showing that people who reframe their anxiety as excitement before a performance by saying out loud, "I am excited," perform significantly better than those who try to calm down. Why? Because anxiety and excitement are physiologically almost identical. The difference is in the story you tell yourself about what you're feeling. So next time your palms are sweating before a presentation, don't say, "I'm so nervous." Say, "I'm so ready. My body is preparing me to perform." That single mindset shift can reduce the adrenaline cascade, and with it, the sweating. Strategy 3. Desensitize through exposure. The most durable solution to speaking anxiety and the sweating that comes with it is exposure. Your amygdala loses its power when it realizes over and over again that the threat is not real. This means speaking more, not less. Join a Toastmasters club. Volunteer to present in team meetings. Record yourself on video and watch it back. Practice in front of a mirror. Every single exposure tells your brain, "I survived this. This is not a threat." Each time the alarm fires a little quieter, the adrenaline is a little lower, and the sweating is a little less. Strategy 4. Control what you can control. While you're building your long-term resilience, let's also manage the immediate symptoms with smart preparation. 1. Wear breathable, sweat-wicking fabrics when possible. Dark colors and patterns hide sweat marks. Avoid tight-fitting synthetic fabrics. 2. Use clinical-strength antiperspirant the night before, not the morning of. Antiperspirant works while you sleep, when your sweat glands are least active. 3. Avoid caffeine for at least 2 hours before speaking. Replace it with water. Staying well hydrated actually helps regulate body temperature and reduces the intensity of stress sweating. 4. Arrive early to your venue. Familiarize yourself with the space. The unfamiliar triggers your alarm system. The familiar calms it. 5. Do a warm-up. Light movement, Even just walking briskly for 5 minutes metabolizes excess adrenaline in your bloodstream before you step on stage. Strategy 5. Anchor yourself in the room. One of the fastest ways to exit the anxiety spiral is to anchor your attention to the present moment, to what's actually happening in the room, not to the catastrophic story your brain is telling. Before you begin speaking, try this. Look slowly around the room. Find 3 specific things you can see. Feel your feet on the floor. Take 1 deliberate breath, then speak. This is a grounding technique, and it works by engaging your prefrontal cortex, the rational executive part of your brain, which actually inhibits amygdala activation. Essentially, you're using thought to override fear. The more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes, until one day you walk on stage and realize you're not even thinking about sweating. You're just speaking. Strategy 6. Seek professional support if needed. I want to speak to those of you for whom sweating while speaking is not just an inconvenience, it's debilitating. It's affecting your career, your confidence, your relationships. If that's you, I need you to hear this. There is no shame in seeking help. In fact, seeking help is the most professional, high-performance thing you can do. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is one of the most effective treatments for performance anxiety. A trained therapist can help you identify and rewire the specific thought patterns that are triggering your stress response. For those with a clinical condition called hyperhidrosis, which is excessive sweating beyond normal stress responses, there are medical treatments available, including prescription antiperspirants, Botox injections in the hands or underarms, and other options that a dermatologist can walk you through. The point is, you have options, more options than you know. And the most empowered thing you can do is use them. Let me leave you with this. Every great communicator you admire, every CEO, every TED speaker, every leader who commands a room has felt what you feel. The racing heart, the damp palms, the voice that wants to shake. The difference isn't that they stopped feeling it. The difference is that they decided their message was more important than their fear. You have something to say. Your audience needs to hear it. And your nervous system, as dramatic as it is simply trying to protect you. Thank it. And then walk out on that stage anyway. You've got this. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more practical tools for professional speakers and high performers. And drop in the comments. What's your biggest challenge when speaking in public? I read every single one. See you in the next one.